Welcome to Burping It Out podcast with Anna Regina. I'm Anna Regina, and this is Burping It Out, where we don't say what we think, we burp it out. I don't know if you could hear that, but I just burped. Hi. I didn't want to start this with a burp, but whatever. I think it's forgivable in my case because this podcast supposedly is about burps. I don't burp as much as I would like to here, because I feel like I would have to drink water every 5 minutes. But I don't think it's I'm lame, but I'm not that lame. If that makes sense. Anyway, that was totally off topic. Let me give you some historical concept. Some historical what the fuck? Let me give you some historical context before we begin. Today it's actually been pretty cold. You know, I'm actually wearing a sweater right now, and I haven't worn a sweater inside of my house in months. Literally, since June. Maybe in June I did it. Yeah, but then in July it was too hot. And now in August it's cuz here's the thing, this summer has been not that hot, which I'm thankful for because I hate it when it's hot. I sweat a lot, blah blah blah. But I don't know. I'm happy that it's, you know. Yesterday it was raining, and it was raining so much. And I was a little bit scared that it was going to interfere with my recording because I just recorded a collab yesterday. And I thought that, it was probably going to rain when I was doing it. But no, actually, it didn't rain, which is cool. Why am I so awkward? I feel like I'm sounding awkward right now. I don't want to start the recording again, but I feel like I'm sounding awkward. I don't know. I don't feel as energetic. Maybe it's because I ate uh, I just yawned. I feel like I just ate I don't know, an hour ago, an hour and a half ago, an hour, 2 hours ago, I don't know. And I'm still digesting everything. And probably that's why. Anyway, in today's episode, we're gonna talk about adulting and how it scares me. And I'm gonna talk about a lot of things that have to do with adulting that, I mean, some of them scare me, some of them make me excited, some of them both. So we're gonna talk about that today. I actually started recording this not yesterday, but the day after yesterday, and I was halfway through, and for some reason, the software that I'm using to record it stopped recording. I don't know why. I fixed it because yesterday I could do the collab just well, and yeah, and I didn't have any technical problems, so I feel like that's not gonna happen. Here's the thing: I wanted to continue doing the episode because I was halfway through and the recording was actually pretty good. But I don't know, I kind of forgot what I was talking about, and I felt like the vibe was gonna be a little bit different. You know what I mean? Because it's 2 different days. I mean, I could have done that, and I was like, no, let's just start from the top. So we're gonna talk about this because by the time I'm posting this, I'm turning 18 next week, I believe. Yeah, because actually, this year, September 9th, which is my birthday, happens on a Wednesday. It takes place on a Wednesday, and Wednesdays are when I post new podcast episodes. So, I'm gonna post a podcast episode for my birthday, and it's obviously gonna be birthday themed. I still don't know what I'm gonna make it about, but you'll know. And yeah, there's that. So I'm turning 18. I think next week, depending on when I'm posting this. I mean, I think it's gonna be next week. Anyway, and it scares me a little bit. You know, actually, by the time I'm recording this, there's 3 weeks left for my birthday. But so I gotta pretend it's in a week. Well, I'm turning 18 really soon, and it means quite, quite some things. Oh my god, I'm so I'm not that tired. No, actually, now that I think about it, I'm a little bit tired. But I'm gonna try to be as energetic as possible on this episode. I don't wanna. I'm sorry, I just hit the mic with something because I had a pad or something that or a screen or something. I don't know what it's called. That supposedly makes sound better, but it's a little bit weird. No, you know what? I'm actually just gonna stop using it, and I'm just gonna put the microphone close to my face. Well, I'm actually recording with my phone right now because my dad's in Mexico, blah, blah, blah. He took the microphone with him because he's a podcaster too, and now I can't use it, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so I'm going to college. That's the first thing that kind of is gonna happen after I turn 18 because I don't know when school starts. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. You probably think I'm really bored right now, but I'm not bored, dude. So I'm gonna go into college. I just laughed my face a little bit in case like that helps. Anyway, because I feel like if I drink more water, I'm just gonna add more to my stomach, and like that's gonna probably make me a little bit more sleepy. I don't know if that's true, but whatever. I'm going to college. I'm going to college. And that, I mean, it doesn't really scare me. You know what scares me about college is the first few days, especially the first day, because you don't know where anything is. You don't know where any classroom is. You don't know who anyone in your class is. The cool thing though is that nobody really knows each other. The cool thing about it is that okay, you're new in that school. It's like a school that you're new in, but like everybody's new, you know? So like it's not, you know what I mean? Like it's not that bad. But like obviously like new things scare us as human beings, I guess. And until we know what we're about to go through or what we're about to, I don't know if I'm explaining this well. I feel like when you don't know what's about to happen or like when you know how things go, at a certain school or at a certain like job that you have or in a certain like place that you go, like until you know how that works or like how the people there work or like how it's organized, whatever, you don't feel that sort of peace or like calmness, no, calmness, no, that calm, the noun is calm too. I don't know, forgive me. So yeah, going to college is one of those things that I'm a little bit scared of, but like I'm not that scared of. I'm actually kind of excited about it because I don't know, it's kind of cool. Like I feel like college is when you finally like you're finally studying something that you're genuinely interested in. Well, supposedly, like a lot of people are pushed to like study something they don't want to study or whatever. But like, you know what I mean? Like because it's very specialized and everybody does a different thing. I feel like you're like, okay, well, this is what I'm interested in. This is what I like. So it's like cooler to study that in a sense. I mean, it's never cool to study, but like it's cooler to study something you like than something you absolutely hate, and everybody can agree with me on that. So that's number 1. Number 2 is driving. Here's the thing. I'm going to tell you, I think I have childhood traumas, okay? I seem like a very calm person. I know I seem like a very mentally stable person. Like I got everything figured out. I know, I seem perfect, right? I know it's hard to believe, but I'm actually not perfect. And I actually have childhood traumas. And I'm going to explain this. I was just kidding right now. I don't think I have a childhood traumas, not that I remember, but a lot of kids that had childhood traumas, they actually don't remember them, and that's a mechanism that the brain does to like cope or something. But this is definitely not the case. But I called it a childhood trauma because I feel like it kind of works as something similar to a childhood trauma. I'm going to explain. When I was 10 years old, when I was in 5th grade in elementary, we did a trip like with school, school did we did a trip one day to this like karting, like karts with go-karts. Yeah, we did it. We went to this place where we would drive go-karts, but it wasn't like just driving around like whatever the fuck, like just like we were actually kind of learning to drive. They would teach us like the basic things that we needed to know is like, okay, here is when you stop. Here is when you can overtake. Here's when you can do this. Here's when you can do that. And when you see the sign, it means that. So you have to do whatever the fuck. I don't remember. And so I wasn't taking it seriously. Here's the thing. I'm a good student, and I think like a huge part of like learning something in school is paying attention. I feel like if you pay attention to the teacher, then it's really easy to study for the test because you paid attention when you should have. And so that day I wasn't paying attention. So, I pretty much I was just doing my thing. I thought it was just we were just playing. I was like, we don't need rules. I mean, we just need to know how to turn on the car or like how to make it work or whatever the fuck or like make how to make it stop or whatever. And so I don't think I was paying a lot of attention. And if I was, maybe I was like, well, what I mean, I cannot judge. I cannot say because I was 10 and I'm almost 18. It's been 8 years. It's been 80% of a decade. I don't remember that shit. But anyway, So we had like points in like your driver's license. I don't know how that works where you live, but like at least in like Spain or Mexico or stuff, like you get your driver's license and you have like some points. I feel like you have six or I don't know how many you have. I think it's six. I don't know. And and when you are caught doing something that you shouldn't do, they remove 1 point. And then if you get removed the 6 points that you have, you lose your driver's license and you have to do the test again and you have to get the driver's license again, and that costs money and brain cells and emotional stability. Anyway, I lost all of my points there, but so did a lot of people that I knew. So like it wasn't that bad, but like it was a little bit like it was shit, because like you couldn't drive anymore. Basically when we lost all of our points, we just couldn't drive anymore. And then we would watch people driving and we couldn't do that. And so it's like, fuck bro, like why, So like it was not serious because we weren't actually like learning to drive or anything. Like it was just a go-kart place. But it was like a little bit serious because they did like let's say like punish you. Like if you lost all of your points, you can't drive anymore. They give you like they were serious about the rules, if that makes sense. So, yeah, that was a traumatic experience because I didn't have the most fun. I didn't know how anything went. I didn't know anything. I don't think I was paying attention when they gave us the instructions and stuff. And I lost all of my points. And actually only two people, as far as I know, they didn't lose all of their points. And the rest of us were like, well, fuck you guys. Like, whatever the fuck. Like, you guys took it too seriously. Like, chill, whatever. I don't think anyone like in my class or in my generation whatever remembers that experience, but I hated it. I remember that day like, oh my god, that was not a good day. That was I don't know, I hated that day. And so I feel like I have a childhood trauma because like I sucked so much at that shit that I was like, dude, I'm gonna suck at driving in real life. I'm gonna suck at that shit in real life. And it scared me that I was going to. And then every time I thought about like driving and stuff, or like when my parents were talking about driving, I was like, oh my god, when I learn to drive, it's gonna be so hard and I'm gonna suck at it, whatever the fuck. And then even when I was 11, I was like, dude, I'm not over in that fucking trauma. What the fuck? And then when I was 12, I was like, well, I'm still not over it because it still makes me a little bit scared. Like you like getting my driver's license, it still makes me a little bit scared, but I'm like, dude, that's gonna happen when I'm 18, so like I'm gonna be over it by then, right? Like I kind of didn't think that I was gonna get over it, and maybe that's part of why I'm not like fully over that shit. But I mean I should have gotten over that, but I don't think I'm still over that. And so it scares me a little bit. It scares me that I'm gonna fuck up. It scares me that I'm gonna fail the exam or whatever. It scares me. It scares me. It scares me. I don't know. I feel like it must be hard because I see my parents doing certain things, like certain like turns or like certain situations where it's like, wait, should I go? Should I not go? I can't see if there's cars coming, whatever the fuck. Like it's stressful sometimes. Not always, but like sometimes. And like finding when to park or none of that. I don't even know what I'm talking about. And like finding where to park. What the fuck? Why am I talking so bad today? Oh my god. I mean, I talk really bad every day, but like whatever. You know what? Practice makes perfect. Maybe this is the 20 something episode. So maybe like by episode 30, I'm not gonna suck so much. Nah, that's not gonna happen. Whatever. What was I talking about? Yeah, I thought I was gonna get over it, and I didn't get over it, and I'm a little bit scared. But here's the thing, part of why I sucked so much back then, it was because I wasn't really paying attention to the instructions. So maybe if I had known what I had to do and what I shouldn't have done, maybe I would have not lost all of my points. You know, I'm not saying I would have kept all of my points, but I wouldn't have lost them all. And so I shouldn't be scared. I'm gonna try not to think about that. I'm gonna try to like be chill about it. It's like, okay, I'm gonna study as much as I can. I'm gonna try to, calm down, be relaxed, and just, do it as well as I can and be confident about what I know about. So hopefully that turns out fine. And now I'm gonna go with the third point, which is going to the doctor alone. And here's the thing, that doesn't scare me nor makes me excited. I mean, who's like scared or excited about going to the doctor? Well, a lot of people are like scared to go to the doctor or the gynecologist or the dentist, whatever the fuck. But like, no one's excited. I'm not excited and I'm not scared about it in my personal case or my personal situation. Because here's the thing, I was like, so you go, at least in Spain, you go to the pediatrician until you're 14. Like when you turn 14, that's your last appointment. They do you your last appointment or something, and then you go to the adult doctor or something, the adult doctor, the normal doctor, right? And so I was like, well, when I turn 18, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna come here alone, and I still haven't turned 18 technically, so I'm gonna still come with my mom or my dad or whatever the fuck. Usually I go with my mom. Don't know why. And what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. And so the other day I went to the doctor. Here's the thing, because I had actually had recorded this part, like the first half of this episode. Okay, so actually that day was when I went to the doctor. So, the day before yesterday, I went to the doctor, and I went with my mom. I was like, well, like I wasn't even thinking about like going with my mom or not. Like I was like, okay, when I turn 18, I guess I'll start going alone. I mean, I had to start going alone. I was gonna feel a little bit stupid if I was 18 and like I still had to go to the doctor with my mom. I didn't want to feel stupid. Like I mean, there shouldn't be anything wrong with that, right? Cause like right? Like, I don't think there's any problems with that shit. But anyway, and so when I went to the doctor, here's the thing. I think there was a lot of people my age and a lot of people 1 year younger than me. So I'm 17 going on 18, so there was a lot of kids that were from my year, which is 2002, and they were all going alone without their parents. And I was like, what the fuck? Do like their parents not give a fuck about them? Or like should I already, like, since when do these kids go to the doctor alone? Like, should I have gone alone to the doctor since I was like 14 or 15 or 16? Like, when did you guys stop going with your parents? Like, what the fuck? I was feeling a little bit stupid, but then I was like, maybe I should have stopped going. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have stopped going with my mom, like, I don't know, at 16 or 15 or whatever the fuck. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I swear to God, I'm not. I don't want to sleep right now. I'm digesting the food. Because I feel like I'm quite energetic right now. Maybe not. I don't know. Whatever. You compare it to other episodes and you tell me if I was energetic or not. Send me a voice message, by the way. That would be cool. That's in the description of the podcast or like the podcast notes. You can actually send me a voice message. I don't think I ever mentioned it. But you can actually send me a voice message. And I can share it in here. I don't know. You decide whether you want to do that or not. It would be cool if you did. Thank you. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, but like I never, like the doctor never told me, okay, like you don't have to come with your mom, or like you actually have to come alone, like on your own, you know, from this point on or whatever the fuck. So like whatever. I mean, I'm definitely gonna stop going with my mom at 18. So like as of right now, I have 3 weeks left. So maybe like one or two doctor's appointments left. I think just one, and then I'm gonna go alone on my own. Yay! I'm a little bit shy, but like I think it's fine. I think like when I do certain things, I think I'm a little bit shyer when I'm with my mom, if that makes sense. Like for instance, like when I'm paying for something, when I go with my friends like somewhere and we like go to the supermarket or we go to the mall or whatever the fuck and I have to pay for something, I'm like shy, but like it's fine. I'm like 10% nervous, so like that's pretty okay. But like when I'm with my mom and like I'm paying for something, I get like I don't know, 60% nervous just because my mom is there, you know? Cuz I feel like one of those kids that like their moms are like, "Okay, you paid for this." So like you get used to like, paying and like talking to the cashier instead of me or whatever the fuck. And like I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I don't know, that makes me a little bit more nervous cuz like my mom is watching me like fail at whatever I do wrong or whatever the fuck. I don't know. I feel like it would be much better if I went. But I don't know if like the doctor is like this. I don't know if like the doctor situation applies to this thing. I don't know. Anyway, not excited about it, not scared of it, not anything. It's just fine. I mean, I don't think it's that bad. You just go to the, how do you call it? It's not the hospital, the health center or whatever the fuck. Because it's like a hospital, but not where the doctor appointments happen. Anyway, you just go there. You just sit in there on your own, whatever the fuck. You wait for as long as whatever the fuck, and then you talk to the doctor just normally. Here's the thing: my doctor is really nice. So like there's gonna be no problem. And like she's very talkative and shit. And like she's really nice, so like I'm not gonna be shy like around her, obviously. So it's just sitting there, talking to the doctor, telling her two, three things, and then leaving. Like it ain't that bad, you know? Next point, learning to cook. Here's the thing. I don't feel the pressure to learn to cook from now cuz like my mom told me that she's actually not really she doesn't really want to rush it like to teach me how to cook because like even she pretty much started learning to cook when she literally when she had me, not even when she got married, when she had me. Cuz here's the thing. When she was single, and her sisters were single and stuff, like they were like the husbands of the house because like they would work, and then my grandma would stay at home and like she would do pretty much everything. And like when my mom got married, she had a job, and my dad also had a job, so like they both were out all day long, so there was like no need for anyone to cook. And so when my mom had me, she that's basically when she started to cook because she wasn't working anymore when she had me. So, she's had to learn to do all of that shit because my dad would still like work and my mom wasn't working. And then there was me, and then I had to eat, and then she had to eat, and then my dad would have to eat too, and so I think she sent him lunch or something. Or did he eat like at work? I don't fucking know. I'm probably making it up. But what I'm saying is that like my mom didn't learn how to cook really early either. So like it's my mom doesn't think it's a bad thing if I don't know how to cook, but at least she wants to teach me like the basic things, rice, scrambled eggs, and some shit. I mean, like it's never a bad thing to know how to cook, You never know what you might need it for. I mean, I'm actually kind of like curious about how like some things are done because here's the thing, my favorite dish, I don't know if I've ever said it, but it's fettuccine alfredo. I love it. What was I saying? Oh yeah, for instance, I would really like to learn how to do fettuccine alfredo because I love that. Actually, just today, my mom and I cooked something. And it was actually, here's the thing, like I was okay, so it's like rice with like little sausages, but they were like, the Spanish sausage. It's called they call it chorizo as well, but it's called chorizo in Spain. And so it's like really red and it tastes really good. Anyway, I don't know if you know it. Whatever, you Google it. I'll spell it maybe in the description in case you want to Google it for some reason, in case you're that curious, but I don't think you're gonna be that curious. But anyway, there's gonna be the word in the description at some point. So what was I gonna say? So we cooked that with like rice. It's like yellow rice. And like it tastes really good. Like that yellow rice with those little sausages. Like, oh, that shit tastes so well. Oof. I had not eaten that in so many years, since I was like 11, I think. And so one day I told my mom, like, what are those sausages? Like, what, like, those sausages that they did with this sort of rice, like, when I was in school and shit? And, where do they sell? You actually bought them, like, few years ago. Like, you think we could eat that someday? And my mom was like, oh, that's actually a good idea, whatever. And so today we actually cooked it. She was like, oh, you want me to, you want to have this today? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, you know what? I wanted to teach you how to make some rice and stuff. So, because this dish has rice, we could do this together. And I was like, yeah, sure. And so it turned out delicious. It was the first time that my mom did that dish in particular. I mean, we both did it, but like it was you did like two things in one because like my mom was doing something that she had never done before, and I was doing something obviously that I had never done before, and I also kind of learned how to do rice, but I'm gonna have to like practice more times because otherwise I'm gonna forget. So anyway, actually no, you know what? Learning to cook, uh, it doesn't make me that excited. Even though like once you're cooking, it's actually fun, but like it's not something that I would do when I'm like bored. you know? You know what I mean? Like, it's not something, like, that's, like, that entertaining, but actually when you're doing it, it's kind of fun. It's for me, that's like reading for me. You know, like, I usually like, I don't read that much, but, like, I usually here like, I read a book or 2 or 3 or 4, I don't know, every year, and, like, 'cause, like, people give me books sometimes, and, like, when someone gives me a book or, like, when I wanna read a book that I'm interested in or something, I read it and stuff. But, like, it's when I wanna read a book or, like, when I there's a book that someone gave to me that I have to read, like, I read it, and when I read, I actually really enjoy it, but I don't like, when I'm bored, I don't think, "Oh, let's read." You know what I mean? Like, it's not something I do when I'm bored or, like, something that I wanna do when I'm bored, but like, when I do it, I really enjoy it. So that's kind of what cooking is like, but I obviously prefer to read a book than cook, you know? But you need cooking to eat and to live, and books, well, you're not gonna die if you don't read a book. Well, if you don't read one book in your entire life, then you're a little bit fucked up. But you know what I mean? And I'm just rambling around. So, cooking, I'm not like super excited about. I'm like kind of excited about. I'm like 5/10/15% excited about it. I don't like labeling how excited I am with numbers and shit, or like measuring how excited I am with numbers, but like, I don't know. But I'm not, like, scared of it, obviously, like, I'm actually kind of like, if I I don't know, like, if I learn how to cook, it's cool, but, I don't wanna be a great cook because, like, I don't, because I feel like I'm not needing that so much. I feel like if I lived alone, then I would have to, like, learn how to cook everything, but now I don't really feel like I have the need to, because like, I'm moving with my parents when I go to college, so, like, we're gonna be all, like, together, and I'm not gonna live on my own, and you're probably thinking that I'm an asshole because, like, okay, I don't need to do it, my mom does it. Fuck it. No, but, like, I mean, if my mom, like, breaks an arm, I'm gonna have to know how to do some shit. I mean, my dad also knows how to do some shit. So, like, we wouldn't have, that big of a problem if my mom, I don't know, broke an arm or whatever the fuck, you know? But, yeah, that probably sounds a little bit rude of me. Like, I don't feel like I need to cook because my mom does it, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, my mom also doesn't want to, like, rush me so much, but, like, she wants to teach me some things to do, like, here and there, whatever. So that's cool. Let's just go to the second, no, to the second, to the fifth one. And that is being more responsible and independent. Here's the thing, I consider myself a pretty responsible person, but I don't think of myself as, like, that independent. I mean, well, independent, like, in what sense? Like, I do a lot of things on my own. Like I take care of myself in a lot of ways, but, like, for instance, like, I don't do that many more things on my own. You know what I mean? Like I said, like, my mom comes with me to the doctor. So, like, I'm not independent in that sense. I mean, I totally can go to the doctor alone if I want to. Like, I'm totally going to, but, like, I don't know. Like, I want to depend less on my parents for some things. Like, I don't think I depend on my parents on some things. Well, I feel like, for instance, driving a car is gonna give me a little bit more of independence because, like, if I want to go somewhere and it's kind of far away, obviously I'm gonna either need to, like, take a bus or, like, you know, have my parents drive me there, right? So, like, that might give me a little bit more independence. So I feel like knowing how to ride a car is gonna help me a lot with that. And responsible, I think I'm a pretty responsible person. I think I am, or something. Oh yeah, the next one is going to the grocery store alone. And that's probably a little bit stupid because I feel like everyone, like literally everyone goes to the grocery store alone, and I don't. Like, my parents have never really sent me to, like, buy some bread or whatever the fuck. They always do it themselves. They're like, "Okay, either you go or I go," or, like, sometimes go, or, like, sometimes I go with my mom, or sometimes I go with my dad or whatever the fuck, but, like, I've never gone on my own. Like, they never tell me, "Hey, you wanna whatever? You wanna go to the grocery store and buy something?" Or, like, "Hey, you have to do this right now," or whatever the fuck. Like, they don't, I don't know. I don't know why. I don't think it's because they're overprotective. I feel like it's because they just haven't really thought about the fact that they could actually send me to the grocery store and do that. But I feel like since I think, like, from the moment I turn 18, like, they're gonna start, telling me to go to the grocery store on my own, which is, like, fine. It's, like, fine. Like, it's not that bad. I feel like like I said, when I'm paying at the grocery store or whatever store, I feel like I get more nervous if I'm paying and my mom is next to me than if I'm paying and I'm alone. I don't know. I feel like observed. I feel observed and watched, like really closely, really like with a lot of detail. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm being judged like with a lot of detail, even if it's not true. I don't know, but that's the feeling that I get, if that makes sense. So there's that. Going to the grocery store is like not it's not a big deal at all. But like I don't know, it kind of makes me feel weird that I don't do that on my own. Next point, which is traveling by plane alone. I mean, it's not. I don't know. Like at some point, I'm gonna have to like go on a plane alone, but not that I've done that ever, or like I don't know when that's gonna happen. Here's the thing. Like even when I was a kid, that used to scare me so much. I was like, dude, like okay, maybe someone is gonna take me to the airport. Maybe I'm gonna, I don't know, go in a taxi or a cab, whatever the fuck you call it. Um, Definitely, but like you have to like find the terminal or like find your way from like you have to go to this place and then this other place and then you probably have to ask like where's this, where's that or whatever. And like what if you get lost? What if you miss the flight? What if anything happens? Like I don't know, like if I feel like it's a little bit I don't know, it just scares me. Like the plane doesn't scare me as much as like being at the airport trying to like knowing where you have to go, like okay, these people have like there's a lot of signs that tell you where you are and where you're going, but sometimes it's a little bit confusing, and because you're always in a rush, you're always running from this place to that place, it just I feel like I'm gonna get nervous and I'm gonna collapse. Like I don't know, I feel like here's the thing, I consider myself an intelligent person. Okay, I get good grades and shit, like I feel like like my brain's potential, like I'm using it, okay? But and here's the thing, a lot of people that I know and that I don't know, they've gone on a plane alone and I'm like, well, supposedly when they were in school they did not get as good grades as me. Why would I get lost in the airport? And they're not gonna get here's the thing, not everybody's good at everything, right? So they might be good at traveling alone and I might not be good at that. But like, I don't know, I feel like, dude, if they're I don't know, if like some people that I would consider or that everyone would consider stupid or whatever the fuck. I don't like calling people stupid because like nobody really is stupid. We're all the same, we all have the same potential, we all have the same capacities. It's just that some people have more drive to do some things and other people don't. But like here's the thing, like people who you would consider who you would consider whatever the fuck, you're like, oh my god, this bitch or like this dude, they're stupid and they can do that. They travel on their own and they don't get lost. They don't miss the flight. What the fuck? And I'm like, if they can do that, I can't. Like, or like for instance, like I'm bilingual, right? And then there's people who's not bilingual. It's like this bitch is not bilingual, and she traveled the world. How couldn't I go on a 1 hour long flight? Like, why couldn't I do that if this bitch that only speaks one language has traveled the world? Like, I'm just going to one place and then I'm coming back. Like, and I speak two languages. Why would I have more problems to do that than someone else? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Or like you consider some people like, I don't know, let's say clumsy or like whatever the fuck, and you're like, wait, how does this person know how to drive if they're like clumsy as fuck? You get what I mean? Like I don't want to offend anyone. I hope I'm not offending anyone. But like, you know what I mean? Like sometimes you kind of like wonder, how does this person know how to do that? I'm scared of doing that, and they can do that. Like they can do that. I can totally fucking do it. Like we're gonna go to the eighth point, and it's also the last one, which is living alone. Living alone. It scares. You know what? No, actually, when I was. Okay, so I told you that we were moving, right? And so we bought that apartment that we're moving to some years ago. And then we had to do, makeover and shit. We had to, and also like put some furniture and stuff. We did some shit to it. When we first, well, I didn't do anything. When my parents bought it, when they first bought it, supposedly I was gonna live there alone, and my parents were gonna stay here where we live, and I was gonna be there alone. And I was actually excited about it, especially because I wasn't like I was 13, so like I was like 5 years. It was 5 years before college, right? And so it was kind of far away in my head. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. I'm gonna live alone. Blah, blah, blah. And then my parents thought about it and they were like, you know what? Actually, we could all live in it. And like, because here's the thing, there's in towns, like when you live in a small town where there's like, I think right now, there's like 3,000 inhabitants in here. But here's the thing, in winter, there's nothing to do. Because there's no malls, there's no there's just nothing to do. You can't go to the movies, you can't do this, you can't do that. There's so many things you can't do. It's just the towns are just dead. Unless it's summer, towns are dead pretty much all year. And so it's a little bit depressing, especially at my age and stuff, because there isn't much you can do when you hang out with your friends and shit. You're just wandering around in the street. Like it's fine. Like I actually find that kind of fun. Like it's cool, or like sitting in the park, whatever the fuck, just chilling. But like if you want to do certain activities, you have to leave the town and go to the city. And so now we're moving to the city, and now actually my parents are really pro city, especially because we come from a very big city. Like honestly, we went from living in Mexico City, which has like 22, 23, 24, I don't know how many now. There's millions of people in that city, and then we moved to a place where there's barely 3,000 people. Like literally, we're four people. So it's a big change. And so yeah, they decided, hey, how about like the three of us move there? Like that's and I was like, yeah, actually that's cool. Like I didn't mind like living with my parents or living alone. 'Cause, like living with my parents is like cool because you have company and stuff, and like like you're still close to them and shit. But like also living alone is like a little bit scary, but like I feel like it would give me like it would be an experience, like it would be kind of a change, and it would make me like it would force me to be a little bit more responsible because I would be on my own, you know? So there's that, but I didn't really mind like being with my parents or being alone. So I don't think I'm gonna live alone in like I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna live alone in a long time. But it scares me in the way that like everything you're gonna have to take care of yourself 100%. You wanna go somewhere, you ride the car. You wanna get something, you get it yourself. You wanna whatever the fuck you wanna do, like you do it on your own. What pretty much anything. You do it on your own. Everything you do is on your own. You solve your own problems. You are your own mom. You are your own dad. You are your own. You are, you take care of yourself all the time. And so that takes a lot of responsibility and shit. And so if you think about it that way, it's a little bit scary. But I'm not really worrying about that because it's like not something that's going to happen in a long time. Like, for instance, like to this list that I just talked about, like I could have mentioned, I don't know, getting married or having kids. Well, I'm actually not scared about like getting married. I would be scared of marrying the wrong guy or like not getting married at all. Like here's the thing, if I don't get married, like it's fine. Like as long as I have kids, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like I would go to the sperm bank or sperm where you choose like a guy, like the guy's sperm or something, and then you get pregnant, but like you're not adopting and you're not just having intercourse with a guy to get pregnant. Like you actually go somewhere to like get sperm from a guy. Does that make sense? I don't know if that's called the sperm bank or whatever, but that's pretty much what it's called in Spanish. Anyway, so I would do that. Like I would, as long as I have kids, like like kids are my first priority. Like obviously I would like to get married. Like who am I kidding? Like actually, I kind of fear like never getting married and stuff, and I kind of fear never having kids or like raising my kids, the wrong way or like or like. But like I'm not mentioning that stuff because like that stuff I think is like if it happens when I want it to happen, like it's probably gonna happen when I'm 20 a lot or like 30 a little. So when I'm like 20 a lot, 30 something, that's so I'm not really fearing that because literally there's a decade in between me now and me then. So I didn't want to mention these things on the list. So yeah, I feel like that was everything that I wanted to talk about. I'm gonna make a conclusion right here. Like I'm excited about these things because like that I mean, it would be a really it would be a really cool accomplishment to like be able to do all of these things. Even though like it's pretty normal, like to me it would be an accomplishment because I feel like it would be harder for me because it would be a huge accomplishment for me because I'm scared or like I'm nervous about those things. Does that make sense? Because like when something is easy for you and you get it, you don't think it's that big of an accomplishment. But like when something's like hard to get or like hard to achieve or something, you think it's a bigger achievement. Does that make sense? And so yeah, I feel like that's why it would be a huge accomplishment for me. So like I really want to do those things, like not because I'm scared of them, should I not do them? Like I have to be able to drive. I have to be able to cook at some point. I have to go all these places alone. At some point I'm going to have to travel alone. I'm not just going to like, stay in this like bubble that I'm in right now and just like, okay, no, 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 I'm not going to drive a car cuz it makes me scared, or like I'm never going to leave my house go on a plane alone. Like I'm just going to stay here and like, or like I'm scared and mom come pick me up. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to overcome my fear and I'm going to do it. Dude, my sweater, the sweater that I'm wearing, my mom washed it, I think yesterday or the day before yesterday, I don't know. And it smells so good. It smells so good. I don't know. I'm so cozy right now. I'm so sorry. You guys probably think I'm sleeping right now. But yeah, I've been doing kind of adult things lately. No, actually, not really. My mom has been kind of teaching me to cook, you know? And like, well, there hasn't been much like opportunity for me to do that many adult things. Like, me and my mom have been moving, and then like, and I've been making a few podcast episodes because like for some days, because here's the thing, we're gonna move, and like for 2-3 days we're not gonna have Wi-Fi, so I'm gonna need to get all of my episodes ready in case whatever happens. So there's that. But yeah, I mean, I feel like I have this, I already have this like mindset or this like mentality of like I have to start thinking like an adult or start like acting like an adult. Because remember, I don't know if you listened to that episode. I made an episode, basically an entire episode about me killing a wasp because a wasp got in my kitchen the other day. Actually, that was weeks ago, last month, and I actually wanted to wait for my parents to come home and kill it, but then I was like, wait, that's probably even worse if I just wait for them to, come home. So I killed it myself. I was really scared. I think I have a phobia of insects. I couldn't stand even freaking flies. But now that I killed a wasp, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Actually, now it's it's been a lot easier for me to kill flies because literally they kind of scare me because like there's just something about their buzzing like it just like scares me. I don't know. I hate it. I hate it. I feel like they're gonna kill me. And so that was a huge accomplishment for me because I was terrified of that wasp. I had an awful time killing it. But then when I killed it, I almost wanted to cry. I was so proud of myself. I was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I just killed it." And even when I told my parents, they were like, "Well, you know what? If we're being honest, we did not think you were going to kill that wasp." So they were surprised when I killed it. I don't know, that makes me happy because I was able to do something that, like that few months before or a few weeks before I would have not thought thought of myself as capable of doing it. So yeah, I think that wraps up this episode. Adulting is like I said I don't know how many episodes ago. I'm glad that you don't become an adult in just a day or two or three or whatever the fuck because that would be really stressful because there's so many things that come with being an adult. And I'm glad that that's a slow process called either the teenage years or the young adulthood years, whatever the fuck. I'm glad, and I'm gonna take it easy. I'm gonna swallow my gut and do all of those things that I want to do that I'm scared about, but I have to do them, and I'm gonna do all of those things, and that's it. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I really enjoyed making it. I thought it was gonna be a little bit more like intense to talk about, because for instance, when I talked about makeup, I thought it was gonna be lighthearted, but then I started talking about crushes and shit like that, so it wasn't that lighthearted. And now that I mean, this one I didn't think it was gonna be lighthearted, and I think it was more lighthearted than I thought, or maybe it's because I sort of recorded this twice. I don't know, or maybe it's because I'm a little bit asleep right now. I don't know, but I really enjoyed this episode. I thought I was gonna enjoy it less because it's not something that I love talking about because I'm nervous about that. But like, I don't know. I feel like this podcast is kind of my therapy because I basically talk all of my thoughts out. I burp them out, right? I hope you have an amazing day, an amazing night. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye. And that was the end of the episode. Hope you liked it. This podcast is also on Twitter and Instagram at Burping It Out Pod, at BURPINGITOUTPOD. You can also find me on social media at It's Anna Regina, at ITSANAREGINA. I hope you have a great day or night, and I will see you next time.